Sometimes a person's beliefs can make them do things that you yourself may find unimaginable, and sadly, that's exactly what happened to the members of the Good News International Church. Recently, a pastor by the name of Paul McKenzie was arrested for the murders of countless members of his church, which is now being labeled a religious cult. Paul McKenzie, now he lived with hundreds of his followers in makeshift homes in a remote forest camp that he divided into areas with biblical names like Jerusalem and Judea. And he preached to them that the world was going to end on April 15th and that Satan would rule the earth for 1,000 years. And in order to be saved, he told them that they needed to starve themselves and their children to death before they then could meet Jesus in heaven. The pastor said in a video that he made, "I heard the voice of Christ telling me that the work I gave you to preach end-time messages for 9 years has come to an end. I followed the voice that told me that I finished the work." Then weeks after that video was made, a horrific discovery of more than 100 bodies, mostly children, were found in mass graves in the forest of southeast Kenya, home of his Good News International Church. Sadly, it seems that the pastor had planned the mass starvation in 3 phases. First, the children, second, the women and young men, and third, the rest of the men and himself. The relatives of some of the victims have said that McKenzie was an authoritarian who had cut off his followers from their families and society through his extreme teachings. He had forbid them from sending their children to school and from going to the hospital when they were ill, branding such institutions as satanic. Women were under orders to crop their hair very short and shun makeup, which to me is very symbolic of how other cults function. Now, suspicions arose in mid-March, weeks before the mass graves were found, when a local man told police that his brother and his wife had starved their children to death in the forest on McKenzie's orders. Authorities ended up going into the forest and finding 2 of the children dead, but rescuing a third. Then on April 13th, police acting on a tip returned to the forest and found 15 emaciated people lying in the forest, according to police who said 4 of them were so weak they died before reaching the hospital. Currently, the death toll stands around 109, with 101 of them found in mass graves and 8 of them found alive but later died. Authorities also say that the death toll could rise as there's 400 people missing in the surrounding area. I'm sure more to the story will be unraveled soon, but in the meantime, my heart goes out to the families.